Hello and welcome to the NTI PodTalk. My name is Dianne Koehler and I'm Director of Nutrition Therapy Institute. Join me as I talk to interesting people in the field of health and wellness, food and farming, and anywhere else we find conversations that matter to our community. By listening, you'll learn a little about NTI and a lot about the things and people around you that make a difference for your wellness. Welcome and let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another edition of the NTI Pod Talk. I'm Dianne Koehler, Director of Nutrition Therapy Institute, and I am very happy today to be speaking with Colleen Flynn, who is a graduate of NTI, long time graduate of NTI. But we're going to be talking about a very present topic that is like still the hottest thing out there about nutrition and even sort of broader health stuff. So Colleen, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited we're going to have this conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited too.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let's uh, start off by talking about why do you have an interest in health, wellness, holistic wellness, and nutrition? How did you come to this space? Did you start out being really passionate about nutrition, or did it come to you sort of in a roundabout way?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. So, like a lot of people, I think, who are very passionate about this, I've gone through my own health journey, a big
Yep.
one. So, I was
Mhm.
always into food, but maybe not in the best way. So, I come from a past history of disordered eating. This is actually my second career. In my 20s, I did corporate America, but I got myself to a point, I was that person that the doctors couldn't figure out. So,
Mhm.
on paper, everything was great. I had this great corporate America job, was making money, exercised, was vegetarian, which now I don't agree with for me. But back
Mhm.
then it's like, oh, she's so healthy. But
Mhm.
my body was totally conking out. I had severe adrenal fatigue, like stand up, see the stars, had to hold on to things. My thyroid was failing. I had a goiter. My weight was out of control. I had acne. I was depressed. I was anxious. And all of it was tied into the way I was living. I was not eating properly. I was overworking. I was not sleeping. But every doctor I went to was like, your labs are fine. You're fine.
Right.
Fine. You're fine. I'm like, I'm balding. I can't stand up. I just fell down. Like I'm exhausted. I'm 21 years old and I look like an old lady, had like wrinkles and acne. So it got to the point where I'm like, I need to dig deeper. And back then, I mean, this was a long time. I'm in my 40s now. So, 20 something years ago, the functional medicine, holistic health, it wasn't the same and as abundant as it is now.
Mhm.
So I did a deep dive into looking into alternative practitioners and found a functional medicine practitioner who did the gut testing, who analyzed my diet specifically for me, who looked at my stress levels, my cortisol, all the things, and was like, hey, you are a hot mess. I'm like, thank you. Yes, I am. That we're like, just someone tell me there's something wrong with me because I know it.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Validated.
Yes, validate it for me. So I went down that whole path of holistic health with, the whole human experience. Yes, got my gut in check, started eating in a way that served me, but got outside more, connected with nature again. I left that job. I'm like, this is going to kill me. Artificial light, like all of the things that, especially back then, were not talked about, but bringing that back into balance and addressing myself as a whole human completely changed me. And coming from that background, I'm like, the amount of people who struggle with this now and who are going to based on modern way of living, this needs to be my calling because I've been the sickest of the sick and now I feel fantastic and like
Mhm.
I feel like I thrive more like at 48 than I did at 21. So yeah, I have a very strong passion for helping the modern liver try to encompass themselves as a whole human so that they could step back into their power because a lot of people are very tired and sick
Mhm.
and nobody knows
Mhm.
why.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That is such a common story. I mean, it's not exactly word for word, but it's a very common story that people experience their own health conditions. They've seen all of their, conventional medicine practitioners. They've had all the blood tests and been told everything looks normal. It's all in your head.
Yeah.
And usually the first thing that happens is they start putting you on antidepressant medications
Mhm.
or,
Quite well
whatever to,
known.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they make it worse, or like metformin. I'm like, why are my blood sugars fine? Just try
Right.
it. I'm like, I don't think I want to. Like, I
Right.
don't know. I don't want to do this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. 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 So we all find our way to this in our own unique ways, but it is very common.
Yep.
All right. So the topic we're going to talk about, and the reason why we have you here is because we're going to be talking about the GLP-1 agonist medications that, of course, are so popular. They've been around for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 or 20 years even they've been around, but they were used in a very narrow way. And now they have just kind of exploded in use and availability for people to be able to access. So it's so common that in even just a basic holistic nutrition practice, we are going to be working with clients who potentially are utilizing GLP-1 agonist medications. So let's talk about GLP-1s. And let's first talk about how the medications work in case people have heard of them, but they don't understand the mechanism of how they work.
Yeah. So you have to remember GLP-1s, we make it naturally. It's a hormone in the body and made in the gut. So yeah, it every time you eat, the body will release it. It's made in the L cells within your gut. It's nutrient sensing. You eat food, you digest it, the nutrients hit the gut. The L cells are like, ooh, I'm gonna release some GLP-1. Pops it out. Within 3 to 5 minutes, an enzyme breaks it down, it's flushed out, and then we start all over again. So then in comes the GLP-1 medications. So, well, let's back up a little bit because I want to talk briefly about what GLP-1 does as a whole on the body so that we
Yeah.
have an understanding. And then we'll talk about how it differentiates between natural versus the medications. So, I would say there's basically four things that GLP-1 does. It's in many, many cells within the body from head to toe. So it's not just in the gut. So it tells the pancreas to release insulin when you eat, but only when blood sugar is actually elevated. So your body's really smart about that. It tells the liver to stop dumping stored sugar into your blood. It works on the gut motility. So when you eat, the body has to like move the food through the body at the right speed so that you absorb the nutrients out of it, not too slowly because then you're constipated and can have gut issues, but not too quickly because then you can't absorb. Um, and it also talks to the appetite center in your brain to let you know, hey, I've gotten enough nutrients, I'm full. We could stop now. So
Mhm.
that's what GLP-1 will do naturally in the body.
Mhm.
Um, do you want to lead into?
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about uh, knowing that foundation that number one, it's a naturally occurring compound that our body makes in response to eating food and has widespread effects throughout a variety of systems to regulate appetite and to regulate the metabolism of the nutrients that we're consuming as well as gut motility. So those are all the natural things. Let's talk about how the medications work.
Yeah. So when we think about medications, remember it's not exactly made by your body. It's a man-made version of it, kind of like birth control or HRT, things along those lines. And it's there to mimic what GLP-1 does. However, I would say the biggest difference, and this is what you have to think about first, is GLP-1 in the body is present, it's pulsed out when you eat, it's broken down, it's done. 3 to 5 minutes, we're done. When you are taking the medications and injecting it, it's in your body until the next injection. So it's pretty much present
Yeah.
all the time. It is not
Hmm.
pulsed, it does not go away. So it is acting on those things we talked about 24/7 for up to like 183 hours, right? So we have
Hmm.
to think about, ooh, what's happening here? Plus, the amount that is being delivered is exponentially larger than what our body will naturally put out. So I think
Hmm.
that's the main thing to keep in mind. It's just a consistent input of GLP-1 doing all those things we talked about instead of
Hmm.
the pulse use done that the body does naturally
Hmm.
on its own.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point that they are uh, present and working all the time.
all the
The
time.
one thing we should say is that the reason why GLP-1s have become so popular and so heavily used is because they are very good at helping people lose weight. And the reason
Yes.
why they're losing weight is because, as you said, it affects the satiety center in the brain so that you reduce hunger cravings. It alters the way that nutrients are metabolized to, you know, help improve that metabolism of those nutrients. And that's why they are so popular. And originally, these medications were used for strictly for people who had, severe obesity,
Mhm.
like morbidly obese, and then those who had some certain threshold of type 2 diabetes. I don't remember exactly what it was, but now they're used not only for that group of, for those really severely compromised patients, but now they're used by people who, want to drop like, obviously, they want to drop 50, 100 pounds. That's one thing. But people who just want to drop like 20 pounds, it's like, oh, I'll just use some GLP-1s.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, so there's lots of things to think about because of what you've mentioned, how they work. The one thing I do want to ask about, am I correct that originally, and up until maybe just recently, like within the past several weeks, I've been starting seeing ads that GLP-1s now come in a pill version rather than in injection. Do you
Yeah.
know about that? And can you talk about that? Because my understanding is that they were always injection.
Yeah. So I've been hearing the talk about, I actually just read that too, and I wrote down the name of it. It's like, oh, I know it's always changing. There's so much to
Hmm.
know about this.
Hmm.
Um, it is in a pill form, and hold on, let me find it. Yeah, so it's
Sorry, I put you on
called
the spot.
Fondeo, and it's a new daily pill.
Hmm.
Now, I think it will still be beneficial, but it's not going to be as strong as the injections because it still
Okay.
needs to be digested, broken down. Whereas when you inject it, like it is in you. There's nothing like interfering with its presence. I
Got
think
it.
that it's supposed to have less side effects. And I think it would be very beneficial for people with gut issues because I've been using like BPC 157 and other peptides orally for a while for like Crohn's disease, things like that. So I can see this having a positive effect on the gut with less side effects because there are a lot of side effects with those injections, especially the doses. This is what we see in my practice. People are dosed so improperly because
Mm.
they're getting it from, and it's not like it's anyone's fault per se. It's just
Hmm.
they get it from their doctors.
Hmm.
Their doctors don't have know them, right? The way we know our clients. We know like their family, their insights, their stresses, like their gut, we know everything about them inside and out. Doctors have like 7 minutes. So they'll look at their labs or their weight and be like, here's your dose. And then they're trained on you increase. At this time we go up, at this time we go up. So they're not really listening to the person or educating them on side effects to look for. So a lot of people are being overdosed or they're getting it from med spas. So again, you go in, I mean, story about me, I'm very fit. I take very good care of myself. I'm at a very low body fat in a good way. Exercise. I went in to get some laser because I do like to get my face lasered a little bit because I'm in the sun in Texas. And I was offered a GLP-1. And I was shocked because I'm like, y'all, like, I'm a skinny lady. Like, this is
Yeah,
interesting. But
right.
they're like, for inflammation. They didn't know what I did. I'm like, y'all don't know what I know. I'm like, no,
Hmm.
no, this is like someone it makes money. We're going to put that
Hmm.
out there too. So there's
Sure.
that. Or you could go on telehealth. This is another funny story on the telehealth things. For some, you just enter your weight and a picture. And I had a client who wanted to get it. She wanted to lose 5 pounds, not even 25 for a wedding.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
she put her chin like this and made herself look overweight, took a picture,
Uh-huh.
lied about her weight, mailed it out to her, and she can get whatever dose she wants.
Wow.
There's a lot going on there with
Yeah.
people being prescribed too much and then having those really bad side effects.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about those side effects
Yeah.
because the way these things are marketed, as if you can just take it without any, you don't got to think about anything. It's kind of risk-free. And then once people start taking them, they start experiencing side effects. And, I mean, every single day when I look at I get a quote unquote health related news feed. And every single day on that news feed, I see not only um, uh, studies, publications, whatever information coming out about all the additional reasons beyond weight loss to use GLP-1s, and we can talk about some of those. But then also in the exact same email, they also have articles about a
Yeah.
newly identified side effect. And so let's talk about what some of those side effects are, because I think I'm not so sure that people are being well informed about the potential consequences.
Yeah. They're not. So a majority of people, they don't get any education around it. Either, I know a lot of doctors don't know, right?
Hmm.
Again, they're not taught in the same way that we're taught it. They don't have time to research like we do. So I have, say, like 6 layers of like, I'd say side effect things that we look into. So one is going to be everything around digestion. We have to think about a lot of people who are going on them are already compromised with their gut health and blood sugar, right? So people aren't
Hmm.
looking at the underlying issues that are causing people to need to take the medications in the first place, and those can be tremendously amplified. So everything around gut health and digestion, a lot of people go on them are already constipated, and then they're slowing down that motility even more, which is leading to insane constipation. We have clients who go to the have a bowel movement once a week. One man was having it once every 2 weeks. I'm like, how are you
Oh,
even going out in the world? Like, hooray, you
yeah.
lost weight, but like,
Good
all
grief.
right, how do you function? Right.
Right.
So, and
Right.
then when you think about what happens with constipation, if you're not clearing everything out, all the toxins and used hormones are in your stool and that's sitting there and seeping back into the body. To add
Hmm.
a layer to that, when we think about fat, fat does good things for us. It protects us. It's holding medications the body can't process, toxins the body can't process. So it's holding it in fat, like I can't handle releasing you right now until you're detoxing properly. I'm going to hang on. Then we take these meds and the body's like, oh my God, I have to break down fat for energy because I'm not eating enough food. And all that stuff's flooded into the body. And then it's
Right.
not clearing out because people are constipated. So there's like these levels of things. I'm like, ooh. So people are feeling sicker, more lethargic. They're not clearing things out. I'd say some of them are getting maybe in a sense like poisoned from not going to the bathroom. We're seeing more
Hmm.
SIBO from it, right? Because
Hmm. Hmm.
bacteria is settling into the wrong places, bacterial
Hmm.
overgrowths, candida. So a lot of gut things based on digestion, H. pylori, heartburn, like all the things. Um, another does that answer enough of
Yeah.
the question?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and there are, way more severe consequences outside of gut stuff, the vision loss
Yep.
and I don't know if you're going to mention those,
Pancreatic.
but yeah.
Yeah. The pancreas, lots of issues with pancreas, the
Yes.
gallbladder. People aren't
Yes.
secreting enough bile anymore.
Yeah.
Or they weren't in the first place, and now that's amplified.
Right.
There's, oh my gosh, there's so many things. Yeah, the hair loss. Now, a lot of
Yes.
it is being blamed on GLP-1s. Like GLP-1s cause hair loss. I think most of it is because people are not eating enough. And that
Yeah.
I think is a side effect or an effect is people do not eat food on these. You have to, if you're on too high of a dose, or even like the lower dose, it works by taking away your hunger. It works on the brain. It
Hmm.
shuts down the
Hmm.
desire to eat or
Hmm.
drink water. So
Hmm.
people are becoming very malnourished, which leads
Hmm.
to hair loss, exhaustion, um,
Right.
tooth decay. So people are getting more issues with their teeth. The
Mm.
eye issues. Now, is that,
Hmm.
I don't think they have enough studies to know if it is exactly GLP-1 or if
Right.
it you're not eating. So how's your
Yes.
body going to support your eyeballs? Like you
Yes.
need food to live, and people are restricting way too much down to like we have people in just literally 600 calories, and they're like, I'm skinny. I'm like, oh my
Right.
God, you're dying. Like we need
Right.
food. So
Right.
there's a lot happening there as well.
Yeah.
There's also a lot happening, a new one, and I'm seeing a lot of it, and I knew this was coming, eating disorders are becoming
Oh,
huge because people
sure.
are now don't have to think about eating, right? They're not
Hmm.
hungry, they're getting skinny. There's a lot of power in becoming thin. And I don't think
Hmm.
people know it till all of a sudden they start losing weight. It can be very addicting. Also, people are losing it so quickly, the brain does not register. So this is like part of my thing where I'm like, ooh, my eating disorders, all that stuff I had in the back in the day. So thankful I had that because I'm like, I know what's gonna happen, or I know why this is happening because I lived it.
Right,
Without the
right.
GLP-1 stuff, like I've been there and recovered. But when you lose weight quickly and your brain does not kind of learn who you are as this new person, you still see yourself as an overweight individual. So they think they have to get skinnier and skinnier. So some of our clients are on them. I'm like, you need a check-in friend who will tell you, hey, you're skinny. It's time to stop because they don't see it. Or when they
Hmm.
get off, there's no exit plan. No one is educated on how to get off of GLP-1s. So they
Hmm.
stop cold turkey and they are binging because that hunger signal comes back with abundance. They've been
Hmm.
starving themselves, and the body's like, oh, I'm back. I'm
Right,
back.
right, right,
Let's
right.
go.
Wake up, wake up. Yeah,
Food. So like, yeah,
yeah.
people will be in the fridge in the middle of the night, like just binging or in the cat, just eating, eating, eating. And it's causing a lot of not only physical stress, but mental stress too. Cause they're like, I'm binging. I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, like this
Hmm.
is, you didn't fix the underlying issue. Plus everything's just turned right back on and people don't know how to address it.
Yeah. Um, so definitely lots of concerns and problems. I do want to kind of mention, um, I think that there is this, I don't know. I see it as a drive to really um, create a lot of justification for prescribing GLP-1s for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, kidney disease, obviously heart disease, dementia, um, uh, I can't even think of all the things that I have seen that GLP-1s are um, prescribed for. And but if you were to go and you were to look at a list of risk factors for all of these diseases, obesity would be a risk factor. And so, of
Yeah.
course, you know, all they have to do is just go into all of the diseases, all the conditions where obesity is a risk factor, and then they're like, okay, well, GLP-1s are going to solve this problem as well. And so now GLP-1s are being recommended and prescribed for these other conditions. Like you said, you got someone told you or recommended to you to take GLP-1 as an anti-inflammatory. Like, you know,
Or yeah,
so
because no, it's for perimenopause. I'm like, I actually don't have symptoms for perimenopause. Thank you very much, because
yeah,
I am like a super mega nerd about my health right now. But
right,
yeah, it was an assumption. So they're
right.
assuming everyone like in their late 40s is having perimenopause issues and should be on them. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, so I see it as I don't know who's driving it, but I always kind of think about like pharmaceutical companies, like, okay, so we can, we know that this drug contributes to or is a primary reason for why people lose weight. And so now we can just start making the recommendations, putting bugs in people's ears, like, oh, well, look, you can use it for this, you can use it for that, you can use it for that. So, what beyond weight loss, um, what are some other, maybe true health benefits of GLP-1s or the things that people are recommending them for that might be a little bit sketchy? And you've already mentioned the one, perimenopause.
Yeah. So I have to say, so this is where the whole nuance thing comes into play. I am a fan of GLP-1s in the right context for the right person.
Mm-hmm.
They are amazing. And the studies coming out now, what they can do to help people is incredible. The problem is that these should be the icing on the cake of a foundation of health that people do not have.
Yes.
The problem here is we know you should do the foundations, because they will cure and fix most of your issues. And then the things that are stuck due to genetics or age or you just are so far gone, those GLP-1s will help give you that extra bump. The problem is, we've worked with people for a long time. A lot of humans do not want to do the work
Yep.
involved in foundations. So that's where kind of I'm at that point. I've accepted it. I'm like, humans are humans. Some will do what we want, some won't. Where it's like, okay, maybe you will just have to do even more of the GLP-1 medications, but things that they work on as well. So we have all the gut stuff, the heart. I actually have seen a lot of studies that it can be extremely beneficial for people with heart disease. Number one, it helps them lose the weight, but some people have heart disease and they don't have weight issues. Like they don't have diabetes, they just have heart things. So there are receptors, like I said, for GLP-1 throughout your entire body and all of your organs. So it can help it does bring down inflammation. So it can help bring down inflammation within the walls of your arteries. It can help the lining of the blood vessels work a little better. It lowers blood pressure. It can better triglycerides, and all of that will tie into better heart health. So you could have people who are doing the foundations and they just can't get there and this gives them the bump, or the people who are like, I'm not doing the foundations. Okay, here's a solution for you, even though it's not our ideal one. And the kidneys too. So it's basically GLP-1s will lower the pressure inside the filtering units in the kidneys, and that can reduce inflammation that kind of scars the kidneys over time and causes kidney disease. It's a new one I saw with sleep apnea, so it can help with
Yes.
apnea, right?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, so the breathing interruptions, I think they've dropped like a lot, like 60% or something like that. And this is basically fat around the airway. So if you're overweight and that pushes down, like you have this sleep apnea. So I think that was pretty much all I saw that why it was helping. So it stopped like the fluid pooling in there. Did you see anything else that you remember on the sleep apnea part of why it was working?
No, sleep apnea, it's definitely the extra weight around the airway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, a cool one. So the liver. So fatty liver disease is very prevalent, even in younger people now. I'm like, our poor humanity, like they need us so much. They really need us
I know. I know.
more and more.
Yeah.
So there's a new one coming out. It's called retatrutide. So it's a GLP. So it'll be GLP-1. There's GLP-1 strictly, then there's GLP-1 with GIP, that'll be like tirzepatide. And now this is like, we call it like the GLP-3. So it's GLP-1, GIP, and it also works as a glucagon agonist. And glucagon, part of what glucagon does is it makes the body burn fat for fuel. And it specifically will burn fat around the liver. So for people who have issues with fatty liver and it's really chronic, the retatrutide, it's in like phase 3 of trials, is going to be very, very helpful for that. So it also is going to make people lose weight really quickly. So there's whenever these things come out, I'm like, yay. And also, okay, okay, we have to watch this a little bit too. Inflammation, we know it works massively on inflammation. CRP comes down drastically for people who are on that. If y'all run labs, like CRP is a good marker for inflammation. And then what else? Oh, and the brain and craving. So this is another thing, side effects as well, that is not talked about, and it's really common. When we think about GLP-1 working on the brain and closing the desire for hunger, desire is all intertangled in the brain. It's not like it's just going to stop your desire for hunger. People are losing their desire for water, but also to do things. There's this, I forget, the word is not coming to my brain right now because it's Monday morning, when you just don't care anymore. It's like this
Yeah.
thing.
Like apathy.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a specific word for it tied to GLP-1s where people are just not caring. They're not as social. They don't want to do their hobbies anymore. It gets rid of their desire to like connect with their partners. Like it's hardcore. So that's a side effect. But the good thing is that it can help people with alcoholism, drug addiction, gambling addiction, because it will quiet the desire for all of those impulsive things because it's working on the dopamine system within the
Yeah.
brain. So there's lots of, that's what I'm saying. Like this is such a great topic because it's so nuanced and it can work so beautifully for someone and then not be the best choice for other people. But I like for the brains too for people with food noise. So I had food noise. It's debilitating. You can't do the healthy things when all you think about is food. And it's not like you're just like, oh, I'm hungry. It's you wake up. When am I going to eat? How am I going to eat it? What's in the house? Like it's just all day. It's exhausting. So by quieting that food noise, it does allow people to actually work on the foundations to get healthier. Whereas when your brain is just so cluttered, you have no control over the choices you're making. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's another positive thing I would say for
Mm-hmm.
GLP-1s.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's everything. Did I miss anything or do you have any
No,
other?
those were the ones that I had heard the most about as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, positives and negatives with everything. Those clients who are on GLP-1 medications obviously uh, need perhaps, well, they're coming to you for something.
Yeah.
So they're looking for, I don't know, additional help, additional support. So how do you talk through with people who are taking these medications and what kind of things do you provide for them for support?
Yeah. I mean, ideally they would come to us first, right? And we would do like,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
I've done additional training with the Institute for Restorative Health. Like, so we do the gut training, the blood labs. It would be wonderful if they came to like, hey, how's the health of your gut mucosal lining? Like, let's fix that. Maybe you won't need to go on it or on as much.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I think I've had three clients out of everyone who came to me first to prep for it.
Uh-huh.
Everyone else
Right.
comes to us already on them, like,
Right.
help.
Right.
Things are not
Exactly.
going well. I don't know what to
Exactly.
do. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I always do, I start off with labs first just to see like micronutrient status, like what's going on with blood sugar. A lot of them are hypoglycemic now. How's the liver? A lot of their livers are a little clogged up because they're not going to the bathroom. And then we go from there. So diet wise, protein, I mean, I'm sure we all want to throw up when we hear the word protein now. It's such like an overused term, but it is critical
Yep.
for people on GLP-1 because it will help preserve their muscle mass more than any other macro. When
Yep.
you're working with clients on GLP-1s, I had to shift my mindset around how people eat, when they eat, what they're eating, because it's different because their appetite is shot. So you have to kind of get in what they'll eat. So maybe normally I want people having like 3 meals max with the break in between so the gut can do the thing. But now maybe we have to break it up into 5 or 6 meals because they can't digest a big meal anymore. So again, we're always looking at each client as an individual, but I'm finding smaller meals, they eat their protein first, and then they have to have a fiber too. So this is what we're seeing. Fiber is going to be the next protein, I guarantee it. But people aren't eating fiber. So guess what? Their gut bacteria can't grow. So they're having
Hmm.
more gut issues. They're more
Hmm.
constipated. So we
Hmm.
kind of set up for them an eating schedule and like you eat this first, then you eat this next. And we have them set an alarm to remind them to eat. They will not have the signals. They just do not get hungry. So we do
Exactly.
that. Yep.
Hmm.
And then some people too, like, okay, you're going to be a smoothie person. Here's your greens powder, your fiber powder, and your protein powder, and mix it up in there. So you're going to have to step away from some of like the perfection that we know the right way to eat. Like I'm like, I
Hmm.
want a steak and a sweet potato and broccoli, but a lot of people cannot get that into their bodies. So we
Yeah.
so diet is first, protein's a non-negotiable. Then digestion support. So the body's going to need some TLC. So either adding hydrochloric acid, we want to add in some bile support, some bitters. I love the bitters. Um,
Hmm.
Digestive enzymes, because the motility is so slowed that their body is not going to break it down. They're having the sulfur burps. It's just so uncomfortable. So we want to give that body an extra boost to break down the food. So that will again help trigger natural GLP-1 production at the same time. So when we're working through it, we're like, we want to support you on GLP-1, but then also help you make your own so we can keep your dose low or finally get you off of it. Um, Micronutrients, oh, it's so hard. So I do micronutrient testing as well, just to see like where their gaps are. And we do supplement more than I would like because they just can't get enough food in. But you
Right.
also will fine tune their diet to whatever nutrients they're missing. And then We do resistance training. So I feel like if you are taking GLP-1s, it should be a must that you're lifting weights as well. Like you have to. A lot of people won't, but they really need to. So we do that. We monitor their water because most people will be dehydrated. So either thickening the water so it's easier to drink, flavoring the water, anything to get that down. And then we're working on all the things to support the natural enhancement of GLP-1. So the gut health is huge. So trying to get in like the bitter foods, the fermented foods. Again, it's really hard when their pocket for appetite is just so tiny and they don't crave
Yeah,
things anymore.
right. You
So,
got to figure out what to prioritize because they won't eat enough.
yep. And then they'll have hypoglycemia. I mean, there's so much attached there,
Hmm.
but I focus on the gut, the digestion, nutrients, making sure they're getting enough of them, the timing of it, and hydration, and then also the resistance training.
Did you say thickening water to make
So
it?
some, yeah,
Okay, talk
the
about that
things
a little
we
bit more.
see, the things we see. So we have some people whose dosages are too high. And remember, we're not doctors, so we can't tell them like get off. It's
Right,
too high. You can use
exactly.
it. Might like,
Yeah,
hey, does this feel normal to you? Like, shouldn't
yeah.
you be able to drink water? So sometimes the if people are on too much, and these are things you need to learn as well, like what is a sign that their dose is too high? Now, if someone motility is slowed, if it is slowed so much that they can't even swallow properly, which is what we'll see sometimes, water's too thin. They can't get it down. They can't swallow it. So
Mm.
we'll put in like water thickener that you use. I don't remember the brands we use off the top of my head, but it just makes the water thicker so it's easier for them to swallow.
Is it like a gelatin? I'm sorry, I've never heard of
I
water
know.
thickener. Is it like
Neither
a
did I until
gelatin?
this. Yeah, it just makes it more not it's not necessarily gelatinous. It'll just make it, I guess if you were to put in like thinking about, yeah, I guess
Like a
like Jello.
resistant starch or
Yeah,
something?
just to
The
make
only
it
thing
for
I can
that.
think of is
Yeah,
resistant starch or gelatin.
so like your throat has something to like grip to move it
Hmm.
down, or else they feel like they're
Okay.
going to choke because they can't move, like control the contractions like they
All
used to.
right. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
know. You'll learn a lot.
That's a new one for me.
Because no one
Um,
talks about this stuff. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like we see as practitioners things that are not talked about because people are embarrassed to talk about these things too. No one
Right.
wants to talk about, hey, Colleen, I haven't gone to the bathroom in 2 weeks and I feel like I'm going to explode and
Right.
my hair is falling out and
Yeah.
I don't want to like connect with my partner anymore. Like it's embarrassing.
Hmm.
So I think as what we do, we connect with them, yeah, again, on a human level, and more things will come up that are not talked about in the media as much.
Hmm. Hmm. So you mentioned helping to produce GLP-1 naturally, and part of that is just eating enough food and eating the right combinations and the right things. But do you ever use any other kind of supplements to increase GLP-1 naturally? And I'm thinking of Akkermansia or something like that.
Yeah, I know Akkermansia is the hot one.
Yeah.
Akkermansia, I've been running GMFs for a long time. It's been depleted in so many people, and we have supplemented with it. And honestly, it makes a little difference, but I think that's too easy thinking about it. Like, I'll just pop that supplement.
Hmm.
Thinking about the gut in its entirety. So many people are deficient. Akkermansia is one of the key bacterial species to keep that gut mucosal lining healthy. It kind of, I
Right.
think, it acts like the lawnmower. It goes through and like swipes off all of the debris and keeps it thriving and clean so that the L cells are able to tell when nutrients come in. If we do Akkermansia, and we do sometimes, we also make sure that a key component of that is to make sure it sticks, right? When you have probiotics, most of them are transient, they go through. So unless you
Hmm.
continue to take it, it's not going to stick. So that's where polyphenols come into play. So
Hmm.
we usually do Akkermansia with a polyphenol supplement, but then focus on polyphenol foods, which is difficult when people can't eat. So you see,
Hmm.
there's this like, oh, this is
Hmm.
perfection. Oh, you can't get it in. What's the middle ground? So this is where
Hmm.
smoothies and stuff would come in, cranberries, blueberries, things like that, that have like the really good polyphenols. And
Hmm.
then gut mucosal lining within the gut. So having people have like the slippery elm, the aloe, the things that bone broth, collagen, things that will naturally enhance that gut mucosal lining and the health of the gut. And then, yeah, the sauerkrauts and all of the things to keep that gut lining really working the way
Hmm.
it should.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And, once again, I think it would be great if more people understood kind of looking at what's causing the problems in the first
Yeah.
place, like, I mean, if weight loss is the primary goal, um, and we've talked about some other potential benefits, but the big thing that most people use it for is weight loss. And if weight loss is the primary goal, like you have to go back and you're like, okay, so what are the mechanisms of why you're having trouble with weight? And weight is a metabolic issue, right? And GLP-1s, we didn't say these words specifically, but another benefit of GLP-1s is that they do help restore metabolic function, um, because they're helping with the insulin and reducing blood glucose levels because you're reducing food intake. And so they're, they are helping to restore metabolic function. But if that is kind of an overarching benefit that is contributing, or reason that's contributing to the benefit of weight loss, then again, diet and lifestyle help with helping to restore metabolic function, like
Yep.
doing the strength training exercises, building muscle mass, that's going to be a major contributor to improving metabolic function, as is getting rid of all of the crappy carbs and refined carbs and sodas and all those kinds of things. So, it would be great if people came to us, like you said,
Yeah.
before before
I
they
know,
start
like
the
come to us
medications.
first, please.
Right.
We could save you a lot of money. It's expensive. It's not covered by insurance for a lot of people. It's not an inexpensive drug.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, anything else you want to say about GLP-1s or support for those on GLP-1s?
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's just, I know a lot of practitioners were fearful about GLP-1s taking over
yeah.
the lead, but it's not. And maybe right now because they're newer, right? This is
Hmm.
new, this weight loss thing for
Yeah, bright,
GLP-1.
shiny.
It's bright and shiny, but as we're starting to see the downfalls of them when not used properly or when overused or not being used in conjunction with a healthy way of eating and moving, I think it's important to know that we are, like I said, needed now, but I see us being needed even more down the road because people don't want to stay on them forever. And they're being given this kind of like idea that it's the shiny rainbow. You take the shot, you lose the weight, you get off, and you're fine. The weight stays off, but it doesn't. So this is
Right.
where like we know the foundations are always, no matter what the peptides that are out, like all the things, foundations, it always comes back to the foundations, and that's what we do and how we can help people. So
Hmm.
it's going to be the food, but something else that's important too is lifestyle, like circadian rhythm is something that I focus on big time in my practice because the secretion of GLP-1s falls a line, everything domino effects off each other. So like getting people in the sun more and like all of that can actually enhance GLP-1 production as well.
Mm.
And walking, like just the things we should
Right.
be doing as humans is being forgotten about now because there is this shiny new thing. Like, oh, I could just take a shot.
Yeah. It's
We
easy.
know it's
It's
not,
easy.
it's nothing. If something seems that easy, something's wrong there. It's never,
Right.
something is not right, right? So
Right.
it's just knowing that no matter what new thing comes into play, no matter what, a human is a human, and the essentials to be a healthy human must always be addressed, or people are going to rebound off of the shiny thing and come back and have to
Hmm.
always work on diet and movement and sunshine and grounding and hydration and all of those things that us practitioners know are like the
Hmm.
end all be all.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a great plug for nutrition professionals will always be needed. So
Yeah.
if you haven't already pursued some sort of formal education in nutrition education, or in nutrition therapy, then NTI is here for you if you haven't already done that. But so speaking of plugs, how do people connect with you? How can they learn more about you?
Yeah, so my practice is called Nutritional Zest on my website. I'm on Instagram. I'm located in Austin, but I work virtually. But I do mentor other practitioners just because this is
Great.
like I said, become, I didn't see it as my specialty or one of them, but how can it not be with
Right,
everyone coming to us on them? So I do
right.
offer mentorships on that. And I also just love talking to people about it because I find it's just fascinating, a fascinating
Yeah,
topic.
that's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your, I know you're very busy, so taking time out of your
Of
busy
course.
day to share with us. And I hope people really get a lot out of this. And as you said, I think there is, I even had a little bit of like apprehension, like, oh my gosh, this drug, like what's, how many nutrition professionals is it going to knock out? Because people don't need nutrition professionals anymore. It's a real fear of an over competitiveness. But as you say, it's not going to go away. And in fact, the demand for nutrition professionals may get even stronger as people do start to experience the
Yes.
side effects and they want to get off them.
Yep.
And they need even more support as they're getting off of the drugs and they're wanting to rely on, supporting their body with food, nutrition, lifestyle, those kinds of things.
Yep.
So
Or even plateauing. So that's another, people
yes,
plateau.
right,
So that's, we're getting a lot of people like, I plateaued. I'm like, of course you did. You haven't done all
right.
the things. Let's do the things and then we'll get you down. So
Yeah,
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 lots to
that's
think
great.
about there.
That's great. You have lots of great skills and resources to help people with, and I'm so thrilled to see that. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I guess we will call it a day. So,
Perfect. Thanks
thanks.
for having me.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Dianne Koehler here again. If you found this conversation interesting and haven't already become a student at NTI, check us out at ntischool.com. We hope to see you soon.